We'll get started. Just some housekeeping. The webinar will be recorded and we'll be sending it out in a follow-up towards the end of the week. And any questions that you may have throughout the presentation, just pop them into the chat box and we can get to them at the end. And you can always reach out to one of us at any time. So Lewa Wilderness is located on the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy in Laikipia. Laikipia is an absolutely stunning region. It's in central Kenya, and you just have the most diverse landscape here. You have Mount Kenya in the background, the Barana Hills, and it fits really nicely into an itinerary, I suppose, after the Mara. People go to the Mara for, those vast open plains and big game viewing. Whereas when you come to Laikipia, then, it's more of an immersive safari experience. It's about getting out of the vehicle, horse riding, camel trekking, and walking safaris. So it's a really, really nice option in an itinerary. And Lewa Wilderness sister company, Air Wilderness, they now run a shared charter with Scenic Air from Mara to Lewa. So it makes putting that itinerary together really easy. So the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy itself, it's on kind of the outer edge of Laikipia, and it's a 62,000 acre conservancy. And what's special about it is there's only 5 lodges on the conservancy. So when you come here, you have a really private and exclusive safari experience. There's a 3 vehicle limit per sighting. So you're kind of guaranteed to be away from crowds, and just have a more intimate experience. So in terms of the lodges on the Conservancy, you have Wilderness, Lewa House, Kifaru House, Serakoi, and then Lewa Safari Camp. So Lewa Wilderness is the family home of Will and Emma Craig. The Craigs have been on Lewa for over 100 years now, so there's a real deep heritage here. And it really is like a home from home. They started hosting guests in the 70s, and it has just kind of grown into this really well-renowned lodge. And then you have Carmishu, or Mush as we call him. He now manages the lodge, but like that he joined almost 30 years ago as a tracker. So again, it's a real kind of real family atmosphere and group there. So this is just the location of the lodge. You have the main house, the stunning views of Mount Kenya, and then the 9 cottages then. So this is the main home, and this is the home of Will and Emma Craig. Your guests will see them. If they're there, they may see their grandchildren running around. So the atmosphere, is very relaxed, very laid back. This is kind of the main veranda area. You would come here, for your afternoon tea before going out on your game drives. And then we also have the kind of bar and veranda area just down those steps. And again, this is a really nice area to gather, I suppose, before dinner, for drinks or after dinner. And you also have this lovely decked area that just looks over the hill. And you have a river that just runs, year round, just down below that deck. So you're guaranteed to have kind of wildlife from there as well. You also have a really nice barman as well, who can really make absolutely anything that you you request. So in terms of dining, the dining setup is communal. But of course, if you have guests that would prefer, more kind of intimate setup, we have different locations around the lodge that is really nice for that. And what's so lovely about this area as well is the bird life that comes here, especially in the mornings, is insane. So it's really lovely. So this is an example of some of the different, setups we can do. We also do a really nice kind of romantic dinner around the pool area. So yeah, we can really try and accommodate anything. So then on the lodge itself, we have the communal pool, a gym which is recently refurbished, and we also have the tennis courts. So even despite all the activities that you can do at Lewa and within the conservancy, even at the lodge, if you've guests that just want to chill out, you can absolutely do that. Um, so in terms of accommodation, we have four garden cottages and then five hillside cottages. So three of the garden cottages are two bedroom and they are huge. They are a really good option for families or, groups of friends, multi-generational travel. Um, so three of them are two bedroom and you have this lovely kind of spacious lounge area in between. And we can really do any room configuration as well. So our reservations team are excellent at kind of placing different groups as well. And both rooms are en suite. Again, enormous, lots of space in these garden cottages. And then we also then have the one bedroom garden cottage. So this one is kind of tucked away more on the hill. Um, but again, really nice. Moving on then to the hillside cottages, we have five of these, and so these are nestled in along the hill, and they have the most amazing views overlooking the valley. So again, we can kind of try and do any room configuration, and you also have a nice lounge area. And when you come back from your afternoon activity, they'll have fire set for you, which is really nice because the temperature does tend to drop in this region just because of the altitude. So that is your hillside cottage. We also have they have a veranda. So again, really stunning views. Probably we recommend younger children go to the garden cottages just because of that I suppose out of safety. And then this is the two bedroom garden cottage, and this is the only one with a pool, but it's definitely my favorite. The views that you get from the main bedroom here are really stunning, and it's a really nice option, I suppose, for honeymooners or couples. So yeah, um, so yeah, Lewa Wilderness is one of the lodges on the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, and I suppose the conservancy is renowned for, its conservation efforts, particularly for rhino. Across the Lewa Borana landscape, the 2023 impact report reported 260 rhino across the region. And the rhino conservation here is so successful that they are relocating rhino to different parts of Kenya as well. And we also have 12% of the Greve zebra population here too. So another really cool experience here. And again, it's home to the big five. And being on the conservancy, you can have game drives morning, afternoon, and at night. And really incredible birding as well at Lewa. So yeah, what's just amazing about this region as well is just the variety of activities that you have, particularly for families. We have really lucky. We have trained walking safari guides. We can do camel rides. Lewa Wilderness in particular are really, proud of their horse safaris. We have stables. It's a 2-minute walk from the lodge. And this is a really awesome experience. And they do it for all levels of experience and age. And just the proximity that you get to the wildlife is unbelievable. The horses are grazing with the animals, every day. So they're completely unbothered by the presence of horses. So you get really close to the wildlife. And of course, if you have more experienced riders, we can accommodate that with like full day rides, or if they want to do a fly camp, they can ride to the fly camp and, just kind of make the experience that bit more. And again for kids, Lewa Wilderness, with that, family atmosphere, it's a really lovely place for families. These are actually Anita's kids when they went there 2 years ago. Like this is Ella just crab fishing down by one of the springs, and the guides are just excellent with the kids here. They just keep them so engaged and entertained. Um, so it's a really amazing place for families. They also have their shamba, and I absolutely encourage like any guest to go down and visit and see the operation they have here. The lodge itself is trying really hard to be self-sufficient, and 80% of the food they produce comes from the shamba. And it's so amazing to see, particularly in the dry season when the landscape is so dry and arid. the farm is completely lush and green because it's irrigated by a nearby spring. Um, and they produce their own goat's milk, goat's cheese, eggs. So they've started also offering a farm to fork lunch experience. So it is $50 per person, but I think it's a really nice idea to, put it in the package, and encourage your clients to go down, look at the farm, and then, they have this amazing Shamba lunch surprise waiting for them. Um, so yeah, definitely, encourage that. We also offer fly camping. Again, this is for one night only. Um, but it's quite simple, but it's everything like your guests would need for a kind of more adventurous option. And again, just with being in the Conservancy, you do have access to a lot more you know, excluded activities. They can organise a cultural visit to Linguisi. Um, and you also have the Ngari Dairy Forest, which is absolutely insane. I was really lucky I got to do this when I was there. And you really can, the best time to do this is kind of in the dry season, because you hike through the forest, you then have the opportunity to, jump into those plunge pools. And at the end, you can do the tree canopy walk, which is it's a little daunting. It's one of the longest tree canopy walks in East Africa. But it's a really cool experience. And at the end, we were greeted by a herd of elephant, so it was absolutely awesome. Um, Again, with Lewa, you have also got the Conservancy headquarters. So I suppose if you have guests who are looking for those more experiential activities, and sustainable tourism and how they can get involved, they really welcome guests come down and see the headquarters. So they'll give you a tour of, their monitoring room and, the different equipment they use, and they can also do a tracker dog demonstration. And any projects that are being run at the time, they're more than happy to, for guests to get involved. And you can also visit, the nearby school and orphanage that the Lewa Conservancy supports. It's a really nice activity to do, actually. They're so appreciative of any support they get here. Um, the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy as a whole, they support over 50,000 people through their healthcare schemes, as well as over 1,000 children through school. So yeah, it's a really nice experience to, see how tourism is benefiting the wider community here. Walking Wild is another amazing experience that Lewa Wilderness own in partnership with the Maasai community. And I was very lucky I got to do this as well when I was there in August. So it's a 2 or 3 night walking safari, and depending on where your guests are coming from, you start off kind of in the Ilingwesi Community Conservancy and essentially walk your way back in, and you set up camp each night. And it's just the most amazing way to see the landscape of Lewa. And some of the wildlife you see as well is incredible. And the walk itself, you're averaging between 8 to 11 kilometers per day. So it's quite challenging. You're up and down valleys, different terrains, swampland. Um, so you do need a certain level of fitness. Um, but in terms of, being looked after, you travel with your Maasai guides. They set up dinner, lunch, and breakfast for you. You have a bucket shower, and then it's a really amazing experience and an amazing way to see Lewa and the wider conservancy. So new to Lewa Wilderness for 2024 is very exciting, is Private Wilderness. So Private Wilderness will be an exclusive use kind of luxury bush camp option. It'll be about 2 kilometers away from the main lodge, with a maximum of six adults and two children. So we don't have any images of that yet. We're hoping to get them soon, and we'll be sending rates out soon as well. But this is the team here. So Will, Emma, Karmishu, and Miranda. So Miranda would be our point of contact here in the UK. But we're always available if you ever need anything else.